morning, guys. My name is Maggie. I'm one of your primate keepers here at Dallas Zoo. Thank you for attending another of our virtual member mornings. We're really happy to have you back. We hate that we can't always see you guys in person, but this is great for us. You guys mean a lot to us. Your membership support has really carried us through this pandemic, and it means so much to us, and it also means a lot to our gorillas. So this morning we're going to be talking about our family troop of gorillas. We currently have 4 individuals. So we've got Shanta and Megan, those are our 2 adult females. And then we also have Sambili and Mbani, our perfect little babies, who I'm sure you guys have seen every Saturday for our Sibling Saturday highlights. So Shanta is our oldest in the group. She's 23. She actually does not have a baby of her own, but she has stepped in to really take care of and foster Sambili. They've got an excellent bond. Shanta came right into those instincts very naturally. And Sambili has really taken to her. You rarely see the 2 of them apart. Megan is our second oldest, so she is 15 years old, and she is mother to Mbani. So Mbani just had his first birthday back in March. Sambili had her second in June. So we've got 2 awesome little youngsters. They're very playful. You guys can see them on Habitat every day whenever you come visit us, and of course watch for our highlights whenever we show some really cool behind-the-scenes footage that we have the pleasure of seeing every day as keepers and getting to interact with them. They're growing fast, they're very muscular, they climb a lot, they definitely eat a lot. You guys remember Sambili's mom, Hope, she really enjoyed food too. Sambili is just like her. Both of them favor their dad as well. So Subira had these precious long eyebrows, and our babies have those too. So it's actually pretty neat to watch how they become this perfect synthesis between their 2 parents. So as far as their favorite foods to eat, everybody loves bananas. I know that's cliche, but it is absolutely their favorite. They really enjoy the fruit portions of their diets. We give them an awesome variety. So lately it's been stuff that's still in season. So some of those peaches and nectarines, watermelon, stuff like that has been really, really enriching for them. However, the bulk of their diet is made up of leafy greens. So gorillas are primarily herbivorous. Occasionally in the wild, they've been seen to eat bugs, ants and termites and things, but ours definitely prefer the leafy greens and the fruits over that. So they get a lot of romaine, a lot of kale, and even some celery. They also have a rotational vegetable setup for them. So they can get tomatoes, they can get onions, they can get sweet potato and carrot. They love all of those things. It's great that we can provide them this awesome variety of produce. However, we also give them some supplementary little biscuits that you might have seen out and about in our habitat. They're called leaf eater biscuits, so that's just supplementary protein to make sure that they're getting all of the nutrients that they need, because as you can imagine, with 2 youngsters, we have a couple of picky eaters here. And then they also get a lot of fun juices and different drinks to stay hydrated. So we want to make sure that it's just like us. We need to make sure that we are well hydrated when we're out in this kind of heat. I'm sure you guys are experiencing that as well. It is North Texas and it is quite toasty outside. So we make sure that we give them some extra fluids throughout the day to make sure that they're staying healthy and can keep all of that energy up. So here at Dallas Zoo, we do a training called operant conditioning using positive reinforcement. So what that means is we're not training anything for fun and for tricks. Everything that we do helps our gorillas participate in their own health care. It's super, super important because we maintain what we call protected contact with these animals. So we never go into their same space. They have their spot and we have ours, and we always work with them through a barrier. But in order to do that and make sure that everybody stays super healthy and safe and doesn't have anything extra going on, we train a lot of body presentation behaviors. So that allows us to get a good head-to-toe look over each of our individuals every day to make sure that everybody's doing well. We also train for voluntary injection, when it could be super scary, right? Nobody likes to get shots, but they can be important. And the reason that they're so important is because it reduces stress whenever they have to be administered something like a vaccination or even being sedated for a procedure. So we have to build up a really strong trust relationship with our babies and with our adults to make sure that they're comfortable allowing us to voluntarily stick a tiny needle in their shoulder or their hip and make sure that we are taking good care of them, again, without entering their same space. It can take a really long time to work up to that kind of relationship with these guys because, like I said, needles are scary. It's hard enough to teach your toddler that they need to get a shot for something. Try explaining it to a gorilla that doesn't even speak your same language. Another really important behavior that we work with for these guys is voluntary ultrasound. So you can get the best pictures of things like your heart whenever you're totally awake and totally calm. That can also take a lot of trust relationship building with these guys. So we do cardiac ultrasound with our boys. It's super important to make sure that their hearts are healthy because that can plague adult male apes in managed care. So we want to make sure that we're proactive and that we're monitoring heart health so that we can take all the measures that we can to make sure everybody stays healthy. For the females, we work something called natal ultrasound. I'm sure a lot of you moms are familiar with that. So we're actually able to get really good pictures of baby growing in the womb. Again, it can be a big hurdle to get them to trust us enough to work those kinds of behaviors, but that's one of the biggest parts of our job, to make sure that they stay comfortable in this managed setting. As far as milestones for babies, moms nurse similarly to humans. So your infant is born and then they nurse really consistently for about a year, and then it starts to taper off. And by the time they're age 3 to 4, that's when they're completely weaned. And then that's when mom becomes reproductive again and could add another baby to the family. We have special circumstances, of course, with Sambili having lost her mom. So she does not nurse. However, she had already passed that 1-year mark. And so we are able to supplement her in other ways. And then with Mbani, we're already seeing a significant amount of weaning for him. Megan's a new mom, she's a first-time mom, and so it really just depends on the relationship that the two of them have as far as how long they maintain that sort of nursing bond. But like I said, they both have very healthy appetites. They absolutely love all of the extra little foods and treats that they get. So both of them are growing very, very fast. So with our baby interactions, yes, they play a lot, and they don't really play separately. They're always kind of tumbling around with each other. It was interesting because they're about 8 months apart. So Sambili hit that age, that playful age, way faster than Mbani did. He has caught up with her in that size and in that strength and the power and the energy. So they tumble around all the time. There's lots of chasing, there's lots of play hitting. They definitely tumble around. There's some biting, but it's all for fun, and it's all helping them kind of develop those skills with mobility. It's the same kind where you want your human kids to be interacting with other human kids. The most important part of our jobs and the reason that we're here, and really the reason that these guys are here, they're Western lowland gorillas. So that's one of 4 subspecies of gorilla that currently exist that we know of. So every single subspecies is currently critically endangered. Now, Western lowland gorillas are going to be the only subspecies that you find in managed care settings. The reason for that is because even though their numbers are considered the best among the subspecies, they number up to about 300,000. They're still declining at such a rapid rate that they are considered critically endangered and are definitely in danger of going extinct if we aren't able to do something about it. So the next step after critically endangered is extinct in the wild. They have a very limited range at this point. So these guys are considered part of the species Western gorillas, and then they're Eastern gorillas. So they each have your 2 subspecies. Western lowland gorillas, again, are the ones that we know the most about. So they're the ones that we're able to really take care of properly in managed care. The others number so low that it's more dangerous for us to actually try to manage them in this type of a setting. So they have to be protected where they are. So a lot of you guys have probably also heard of the mountain gorilla. That's a different subspecies, along with the Grauer's gorilla or Eastern lowland gorilla. Yet another subspecies. Now, Dallas Zoo partners with conservation organizations in Africa that work with both of those subspecies. So we're able to give to them financially. Unfortunately, it's really hard with travel restrictions for us to really get in there and do things. So there's a lot of communication between us here in this kind of a setting and then people that have their boots on the ground in Africa that are actually able to help protect these species in the wild. So 2 of those organizations, we have GRACE, the Gorilla Rehabilitation and Conservation Education Center. My curator actually sits on one of the committees for those, and so what they're able to do is talk about what we've learned in managed settings and have them apply it to the orphan Grauer's gorillas that they're helping to rehabilitate. As well as the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund. Hopefully a lot of you guys have heard of her. She did great things in her time, and we're still trying to carry on her work. So they protect mountain gorillas and make sure that they have a safe space for them. Unfortunately, only about 25 to 30% of these gorilla populations are in protected areas, and the rest of them are kind of on their own in unprotected lands. Their numbers are declining, specifically for Western lowland gorillas, by about 2.7% annually. That's huge. So if we're looking at the most 300,000 individuals, the last time they were evaluated, by the way, was in 2016. It's not something that we can just do all the time easily. and they're declining at that rate, then we're losing about 10,000 of these individuals a year. That is fast, that is huge. We really need to provide as much support as we can to them and then to their counterparts that we have in managed care. We rely really, really heavily on the support of our members. So thank you guys so much. On our guests, anybody that can come through the door and come visit, donors, people that are willing to give so that Mbani and Sambili can remain ambassadors for their species. You guys are able to come, interact, fall in love with them the way that we have, and really get a great understanding of how important these individuals are, why it's so important that we continue to save their species. Gorillas really only have one predator, and that's humans. So that means that it's up to us to do something about that. So of course we hear about poaching and mining. Those are all huge things because we enter their habitat for mining, for logging, for forest degradation. Not only does it take away from their natural habitat, but it can spread things like disease, and they are susceptible to everything that we are because they share almost 98% of our DNA. We want to make sure that you are purchasing products that have been sourced sustainably. I know that we talk about recycling all of the time, but it really does go a long way. So you want to make sure that whenever you're buying paper products that you're looking for a label on the back that tells you that they have been sourced sustainably. One of those is the FSC, or the Forest Stewardship Council. So its symbol is a little check mark with a tree. It's on the back of most paper products these days, which is awesome, but that just lets you know that they are replanting forests and that it's safe to buy those products. The other one that you want to consider is whenever you're buying a lot of your grocery products, look for the Rainforest Alliance logo. So that one is a little green tree frog and lets you know, again, that your coffee products, your cocoa products, all of those have been sourced sustainably. Another really big one that we like to talk about that's actually pretty little known about. Everybody's got small electronics these days, cell phones, tablets, cameras, things like that. They all have a mineral in them called coltan. We are not asking you to get rid of all of your small electronics, don't worry. We know that we rely too heavily on them at this point. But what we are asking is, as you retire your old cell phone and want to upgrade to the next newest version, that you recycle that cell phone at an approved recycling center. Dallas Zoo happens to be one of those. We're doing a big cell phone drive right now called Gorillas on the Line. We would love it if you guys come out, drop off your cell phones or other small electronics. All of the batteries and things can come with them. That allows us to partner with EcoCell, and they can properly refurbish all of those things, repurpose them, and then that way we don't have to continue mining for coltan directly out of habitat where our gorillas live. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. You guys are awesome. We miss you terribly. If you haven't been out, please come out, come see us, come see our babies. Again, your support means everything to us.